Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and today I am here to tell you why I dread the fact that they're making another Walking the Dead spinoff, and it deals with Carol and Daryl. And I'm just like, why? Why? Just why? Like, why those two? Why couldn't they make a spinoff on like something completely different, set in a completely different location? With completely different cast. Like, why those two? Now, don't get me wrong. I like those two characters. They're pretty cool and everything. But, they're not exactly what I consider, like, their characters to be lead in a TV show. I felt this way, and it all started when Andrew Lincoln said he was going to lead The Walking Dead. And then they said they were gonna make Daryl the new leader of the group. And I'm just like, Daryl? Like, why him of all people? Like, you think they would make Maggie the leader because she's shown to have leadership skills, especially in I think it's called Hilltop. But of course that actress who plays her, Lori Cohan, she left the show due to like pay dispute. And I remember thinking to myself, why in the world would Daryl be the leader to deal with the whispers? I mean, he's the guy who started off very grumpy, angry, always shouting at people. Then he started to soften up a little bit. Then he got extremely paranoid and just like stayed to himself. And when he stayed to himself, he didn't shower for like the longest time in season 5. Because I remember they tried to make him shower and he didn't want to shower. I don't think he showered until literally season 10. And that went on for about 15 years. And I remember like he was the guy who was just always, he would grunt. Like he wouldn't, like there was one time in one season he barely talked. I think it was maybe season 8. Like he barely would say like anything, and all he ever did was just like grunt and everything, or he'll get like pissed at people, and that's literally all he did. He's like the grumpy caveman type dude, you know, because it's like one season he'll be like the caveman type person, and then the next season he'll be like the person who's like interacts with everybody, and then the next season he'd be the person who's just pissy at everybody and grunts and everything. And it's just like he's not leader material. And then not to mention, when he thought Rick was dead, he spent like 9 to 10 years out in the woods by himself and with the dog, which that kind of pissed me off when I found out he wasn't the one who named dog. When I found out it was that woman, I was just like, why would you do that for? Because when I first heard that he had a dog and he named the dog, it sounds like a Daryl Dixon thing to do. And so when they robbed him of that moment, it reminded me of the third Bad Boys movie with Will Smith, when we found out Will Smith's character didn't become the way he was because on his own. He became the way he was because of that woman criminal. I'm just like, it just undermines everything the first movie set up with him about, you know? And then there's Carol, the broken character. I like Carol and everything, but you never know which Carol you're gonna get. You're either gonna get the scared wimpy Carol, or you're gonna get the leave me alone Carol, I don't want to deal with nobody because I don't want to care about nobody Carol, or you're gonna deal with the homicidal maniac who just goes around killing people kind of Carol. And it's like you never know which Carol you're gonna get because she is a broken character. And so I'm just like, why make her the co-lead of a spin-off show? That don't make no sense. Also, when is this going to take place? Is it going to take place that 10-year gap when Daryl was living in the woods? Because we saw Carol was hanging out with him. But, you know, we don't know if they actually interacted and went places together. Or is this going to take place after season 11 when the show ends? Because if it does, what about like Ezekiel? Like, technically, they're still married but separated. So it's kind of like, or like, is he gonna be in the spinoff show? Or are they gonna like, or is he gonna? I think they're gonna kill him because it seems like they're really trying to kill that character off. Because he was in the comic books, he was one of the people who got piped, but in the show they didn't. So they let him live, only to give him like some type of like cancer disease that's killing him like dramatically. So it's kind of like, okay, so y'all gonna kill this person off after saving him from getting piked, but now he's with those like knockoff stormtrooper people, so it's a good chance they might kill him. So it's kind of like, okay, so what are y'all doing with this character? Is he gonna live? Is he gonna die? Is he gonna be back with Carol? Because right now they're kind of like separated because she's upset about the whole Henry thing. So I have no idea what they're doing with that character and what they're doing with their relationship. Also, what was the deal with Ezekiel kissing Michonne in that one episode that felt so out of place? But if you know the comic books, then it kind of isn't out of place. It was kind of like an Easter egg, a dumb Easter egg, but it was an Easter egg. See, in the comic books, Carol dates either Tyrese or Morgan, or maybe both. And Michonne comes in and steals one of them away when they're living in the prison. And so I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what the whole Ezekiel Michonne kiss thing was about. They tried to like reference that because in the in the TV show, they did pair Carol with both Morgan and Tyrese for a certain amount of time, but nothing ever like happened relationship wise. I assumed it was going to be Morgan and Carol when they were constantly hanging out in season 6, but they didn't. And then in season 5, it was her and Tyrese, but they never did anything with those characters on the show. And so then they did the whole Ezekiel and Carol thing. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And so then the next thing you know, then he kisses Michonne. So then it's kind of like, so that's never going to get explained. That's never going to like anything, you know what I'm saying? So I don't get it. Plus, Daryl's shown that he's not a great leader because that whole Whisper arc sucked. Like, it sucked. And he made his character and both Carol character made everything worse with that group because Daryl doesn't know what he's doing. He's like Wolverine. Wolverine is best when he's just that loner, grumpy type that just slashes and gashes people. And that's kind of like how Daryl is. And then when they kept trying to make him more of a bigger thing in like the movies and in the cartoons, it just ruined his character. Because seriously, the whole Whisper thing, how do you ruin that? It's a bunch of people who dress up in the mask of like actual dead zombie people, and they value the zombie life more than they do the actual living, and they act kind of weird. And that whole storyline was just, at first it was interesting and cool when they killed Jesus, but then it was just kind of like, it just kind of like did the whole typical Walking Dead boringness. Like it was just a boring feud, and it ended a whole lot faster than I thought. Like in season 10, when it ended that quickly, I'm just like, wait, that's it? It's not going to end at the end of the season? So what's the point? And then these last couple of episodes of The Walking Dead, I'm just like, where exactly are they going? They're trying to set up the knockoff stormtrooper people, which is the Commonwealth people in the comic books. So you would assume these last couple of episodes would be dealing with this whole new threat they have to deal with, but it is not. Only one episode is dealing with it so far. And that was actually a really good episode. Like I've been ragging on The Walking Dead, like online on Twitter, like for like the last couple of seasons. But episode 19 and 20 of season 10 was actually pretty good. And one of those episodes deal with both Aaron and Father Gabriel, and I don't even like those two characters, and it made them interesting. And then episode 20 dealt with the whole princess thing, which, by the way, she is my new favorite character of this entire like series and stuff, because she is exactly what The Walking Dead needs right now. The Walking Dead is just way too boring. It's way too bleak. It's just way too, like, just formalized and stuff. Because the thing about the creators of the show, once they find a formula that they like, they run with it. That's something they said back in season like 1 and 2. You know, because everybody on The Walking Dead, in case you haven't noticed, everybody dresses kind of the same. They dress in kind of like these bleak, muted, washed down colors, grays, browns, greens. If they have anything with color in it, it's always a faded, muted type color, like a faded blue. Princess is completely different. Princess is very vibrant. She has purple hair. She has a purple like jacket thingy, you know. she's really kooky in the head. Like, she's just zany. And it's just a breath of fresh air when it comes to this boring show. Because everybody on The Walking Dead talks the same exact way. They act the same way. It's like you have these multiple people with these different personalities and different like racial backgrounds, and everybody sounds absolutely the same. So I was really happy for this princess episode because she just like, jazzed things up, and it was just like really fun and really cool, and the actress is really good. It's hard to act crazy, and she did a phenomenal job. And this is why, like, I'm starting to like go into other zombie shows. The Hulu show Freakish, which deals with a bunch of teenagers dealing with zombies in the high school, or the British show that is on Hulu called Zomboat, which deals with like a zombie outbreak and these four goofy people on like a boat trying to like escape it, and the boat only literally goes like it's the slowest boat ever, but it's a funny zombie show. And that's because The Walking Dead has just gotten so boring. And other shows have copied their formula, like Van Helsing. And it's just like, it's enough of it already. And so when they said that they was getting canceled after season 11, because AMC and the people of The Walking Dead was like, oh, we're going to go to season 20. But then season 10 sucked so much, they're like, all right, fine, we'll go to season 11. I'm like, yay! And then they talking about they're going to make a Daryl and Carol spinoff. I'm like, oh man. So I'm just like, no, like, don't spin off with them. Do something completely different. They could make a whole new show with all the characters from the webisodes, because not every webisode was like terrible. Cold Storage was great, and Torn Apart was pretty cool too. And the thing is, like, the entire cast from both those spin-off things, for the most part, like, there are at least 4 characters that are still alive, and they can do something with those. And the kids are now all grown up in real life. That was on Torn Apart. And the Power Ranger lady, she said, like, I think I asked her this on Twitter one time. She said she's open to coming back, if they ever bring back her character and stuff. So why not do that? Or better yet, make a Telltale live action show. That video game, I've never played it, but I watched it on YouTube. I watched every episode. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's way better now than The Walking Dead ever is. And it's just like, because they don't pull no punches and they go straight for like, what fans want. Fans want real drama. They want real conflict between characters. They want real action sequences. They want real dire escape type stuff where they have to get out of a situation. And more importantly, they want zombies in the show, and they want people killing zombies in the show. Because so far I just watched episode 21 of season 10. I haven't done it yet, or 22, and there's been little zombie kill in all those episodes and barely any zombie action. And to the point of this video, episode 21 was probably the worst Walking Dead show I have ever seen. Everybody has ripped this episode because it's completely out of place with, one, the tone of the show and the rest of the season. Now, granted, yeah, there was this Dukes of Hazzard type episode one time with Rick, Daryl, and Jesus, but that was actually a pretty entertaining show. And it was entertaining because Jesus just kept messing with them the entire episode, and we got to see Rick and Daryl break cool, especially Daryl. And then of course that would led up to that episode revealing that Rick and Michonne are in a relationship, and that Jesus wants Rick and his people to kill Negan people, which led to the whole Glenn and Abraham thing. But like episode 21, it just went in a weird, kooky, sitcom-y type like way. Like, it was just so boring. The whole episode had nothing to do with the entire like season or the entire series. It was just a day in the life of a zombie apocalypse with 2 characters. Nobody wants to see that unless there's some like meaty good stuff that goes with it. I believe the episode called Diverged. And yeah, they diverged heavily from like what that season, what the entire like show is about. Like you would think they would use these last couple episodes to set up the whole knockoff stormtrooper people. And like I said before, they haven't. They only did like one episode. It's like this is the new big bad, and they're not focusing on these people. Not to mention, what is it? One, two, three members of their group have been missing for the last couple of days, and nobody has searched for them. Nobody has even cared. That's the thing. They don't know where Eugene, Ezekiel, and whatever the other lady name is. They don't know where they're at. Like they have completely disappeared, and nobody is like even caring. And that's because the writers don't care. And episode 21 is to set up, of course, that backdoor pilot to the Daryl and Carol show. And when it comes to backdoor pilots, most backdoor pilots, they suck. They suck to the point where they don't even get picked up. The backdoor pilot to Charm with the mermaids, that episode sucked. Married with Children, the one with Matt LeBlanc and that other dude, I think his name was Vinny. That backdoor pilot was boring, like, and it didn't get picked up. The Rosewood episode from Pretty Little Liars, that got picked up, but that show got canceled in one season, and it's because it was so out of place. How do you go from being realistic to all of a sudden going to ghostly paranormal type stuff? I tell you why, because the showrunner, she don't know what she's doing. Then with Pretty Little Liars again, they try to do the whole Edison spinoff thing. Like really, you have a character named Allison, who's mean and has secrets and like does all kind of bad stuff to her friends and other people, and then she goes missing, and then you try to duplicate that entire storyline with a new group of characters at the end of the season, and at the end of the last episode, the series finale is gonna focus on Edison and her group of friends and duplicate that entire scene of her going missing. One, it was stupid. Two, it didn't get picked up. And three, this is why the former showrunner is now not part of the new spin-off series or reboot series of Pretty Little Liars. And so, like, the reason why episode 21 was so bad, the reason why is IMDb page got such a low rating. My God, it's like 4.2 or something like that. It's because we see Daryl and Carol. They're walking, they're talking, because that's all they do in The Walking Dead now. All they do is talk. And they go their separate ways. Carol goes back to Alexandria. She talks to Jerry, which Jerry's a boring character. And then there's a whole montage of her cooking. I kid you not. The whole plot of her storyline is she's cooking. Then she's trying to deal with Dog running around messing up the house. So there's a montage of that. And why is he messing up the house? Because of a rat. So she's trying to catch the rat. And then there's a montage of that. And we never see this rat. But then she makes a mouse trap for it. Then she's back to cooking again. And it's like literally just a montage of her cooking. And it's like, what is this, Martha Stewart? And then next thing you know, for some bizarre reason, when she's out trying to find like ingredients for her food, she sees a group of zombies. And she's all like, and she's literally talking to the zombies. She's like, oh, you think you're tough? You think I can't handle you? And then she just starts killing the whole group of zombies all by herself. And it's just like, why? And it's supposed to be a scary moment because she's by herself. And there's at least 12 zombies coming towards her. And she takes them out with ease. She's never scared because, of course, now nobody's never scared of zombies no more in this show. And she's just having a good old time killing them and stuff. Then she goes back and she starts cooking again. And then for some bizarre reason, she just tears up an entire wall in the house and just starts like breaking into it. And then she just crumbles on the ground like upset. What does that have to do with The Walking Dead? What does that have to do with season 10? What does that have to do with anything? And then Daryl's storyline is just basic. He's out. He's trying to go somewhere. He's not going back to Alexandria. Maybe he's going to Hilltop. Because I think that's where he's been like this entire time since he left the woods. Or maybe he's going back to the woods, I don't know. But he's on his motorcycle, and his motorcycle like tears up, so he has to replace the parts. And so that's what he does the entire episode. He's fixing on his bike. He's fixing on his bike. So he finds a bunch of abandoned cars, and he's trying to repair his bike. And oh, here come a bunch of zombies. He doesn't care. He just walks right past them because he doesn't care, because nobody's scared of zombies anymore on the show. And he just fixes his bike. And I kid you not, that's just literally all it is. He fixes his bike. And when he's fixing his bike, there's a part of tension where he's underneath a car and he's trying to get like a hose, and a zombie's in the car, and the zombie's like moving around, and then the car starts to like fall on top of Daryl. And then Daryl bangs on the door. He's all like, "Oh, come on, man. Like, stop moving around." Is he talking to the zombie? Because the zombie can't respond. And then you think, oh no, he's going to be trapped and people probably need to help him. But nope, the zombie just walks to like the other part of the car, and then he's free. Okay. And then the episode ends with him heading to Alexandria, him talking to Carol, and it ends. And I'm just like, what? And the thing is, somebody had to approve this episode. Somebody had to greenlight this episode. The showrunner had to approve this episode. The network AMC had to approve this episode. And this made it to air? This? The writers need to be fired, is what they need. And it's like, this was literally, in my opinion, the worst episode in the entire series. Heck, I'd rather watch any episode, A World Beyond, which I can't believe I'm saying this, than to watch this episode. And there's been a lot of bad Walking Dead episodes. I'm just like, oh God, I can't believe I just sat through that. That was so boring. But it's like, this now replaces the #1 worst episode because this was just so beyond out of place. It just made no sense. And it's like, is this supposed to get people to want to watch the spinoff show of them? This episode? Is this what we're gonna see in the spinoff episode? Them just going through like the motions and just living life? Of course they're gonna find new bad guys, and of course they're gonna have to fight new bad guys, and of course they're gonna find probably a new group. But it's like, I don't want to see that. Just end this crap already. Y'all have ruined this show. It used to be great. Everybody was talking about it. And now everybody's talking about how they want it canceled. Just end this crap already. Just do that. That's what we want. Also, end the Fast and Furious sequels. They suck. Nothing has to do with car racing no more. Now they're like government super spies. How did that happen? And not only that, but people come back from the dead. You're supposed to be dead, Han. You're supposed to be dead. Letty, you're supposed to be dead. And then what makes this worse is that they're bringing dead characters back to life. But of course, the one who is actually dead, Paul Walker, can never come back to life. So it's like, that kind of sucks and a little bit disrespectful on that term. Kind of like the whole Black Panther thing with Chadwick Boseman. It's like, there's a reason why they didn't recast his character out of respect. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.